Back to our daily show. Here's CJ. Chris, how are you doing today, man? We had a better segment during the break.
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to be back.
So you guys are rocking and rolling at Simply Solar, and just how's everything been since the last time I talked to you, man?
You know, as everybody knows, the end of the one-to-one net metering is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, the panic is in the air. Everybody's talking about it. The truth is, if you haven't pulled the trigger by the middle of August, you probably will have missed the boat.
Okay. I feel really good about this. I don't know if you know this, but I've been telling people you better sign up before August or September because it's over with after that. There's no way in October you're going to be able to lock that in and get
That's
everything
right.
started. Good to know that I'm on the right page here.
Yeah.
And why do you see more of this happening to where more of those really good incentives start to kind of peel back like Missouri's doing a little bit?
Yeah, Missouri eliminated them altogether.
Yeah.
For the most part. Ameren has been wanting to get away from one-to-one net metering for years. They've tried a gazillion different ways. This time they finally won. And we've been telling people that. So, solar will still make sense in 2025. It's just going to look a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. And currently, the projects that you're working on, do you want to fill me in on any of those? Because you have a ton. It seems like the last time I talked to you, you were just in a stride. And is that still the case?
Yeah, absolutely. The one, do you want me to bring that one?
It's up to you, man.
We are the company that's doing Spencer T. Olin Golf Course at Gordon Moore Park. So those of you that know what's going on there, which just about everybody does, it's a pretty major setback for the community because it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
I don't have any inside information. It's a very delicate situation. All I know is that if you're a praying person, pray for a speedy solution that they can put this park back together, that everybody can use it.
And you were in the process of almost finishing that project, weren't you?
It's 98% complete.
Man, talk about just the odds of that. I mean, no one could have predicted a massive sinkhole.
No.
I just hope it all works out. And you can't design another Arnold Palmer course in a span of 2 months. With that, though, I saw that you guys are having a $500 rebate going on. What's that mean?
At the completion of the installation, we were rebating a customer $500 for pulling the trigger. And actually what we're going to do for the next 4 weeks, if you sign up in the next 4 weeks by the middle of August, we are going to bump that to $1,000 rebate at the completion of the installation. The time is now. I mean, if you haven't done it, you really need to get on board.
Well, what better incentive is if you lock in and by middle in the next 4 weeks, you're going to be good to go before the net metering changes. So you're going to be locked into that 1-to-1, correct?
That is correct.
And you get a $1,000 rebate on top of it. So how about that incentive for you?
Yes, sir. And the thing is it's not going to take to the end of the year for us to get glass on the roof.
Right.
Ameren is going to be bombarded with inspections between now and the end of the year. That is the punch. So.
And I'm sure that, maybe a little bit slower process for inspections, too, if they know the net metering change is coming, right?
Yeah, there's only so many inspectors, man.
Yeah, a little bit limited.
They're going to have thousands across Ameren's territory to get done before the end of the year.
Inspectors, my hat's off to you guys because you're going to be rocking and rolling.
Amen.
Well, how is, as these changes start to take effect, this is where people really need to have a trusted partner in the solar industry because, it doesn't seem like this is going to hopefully it is the only kind of major change right now with this net metering. But you never know when the next one's going to take into effect or the next law and ordinance is going to be passed that affects the industry. And how versed is Simply Solar on the industry, all those ins and outs in legislation, that has to be the biggest component of the job right now.
Yeah, well, listen, we've been here for 8 years, so we've been sitting here doing it. We've seen the program go through many transitions and so forth, so we're very educated and up to date on it. Again, when we talked about a month ago or when we were on this before, the idea is go local. Okay, there's only about 3 companies in this area that are legitimately local that know what they're doing, and we're one of them. And I'm residential, commercial, agricultural, even the municipal, well, like the golf courses and so forth. I mean, we're versed in doing everything.
I didn't tell you this. Actually, you brought up a great point. I saw something, and I'm going to get in trouble, I'm sure, with my generation, but there's a group, and I kept seeing this, where I thought they were local solar companies, and they were just with a local company knocking on doors. Well, all of a sudden, see a little Snapchat message, and it says, I need a group of 10 guys. We're flying out to such and such tomorrow to sell, and you're going to get everything paid for. You get all this commission.
Yep.
And all they're going to do is take people's money and run. They aren't going to be doing the job.
Yep.
And it's just terrible. And that's why you really need to have someone like Simply Solar. And you guys aren't just trusted and true with your, the individuals that call you. I mean, you're working with these companies and making sure these projects get done. I mean, that's a real community business.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, CJ. I mean, these companies, they come to town, they're only marginally trained at best on how it works here. And, I forgot where I was even going to go with that.
Well, they're rude. Can I tell you this, too? I was at my parents' house picking up they watch my dog during the day because they got 2 dogs, so they hang out together, so he's not at home by himself. And I go pick him up, and my parents aren't home. Well, a guy walks by in a nice blue shirt, nice collar blue shirt. He's feeling good, and he goes, hey, can I talk to you about solar? I said, no, but where's your permit?
There you go.
Well,
that's right.
Well, my boss, I said, where's your boss? Because you're the only one walking this road. Where's your permit? I chased him off. Well, you can't do that. You have to do it the right way. And what happens is, though, Chris, my fear is what happens to the individual that doesn't really know that, even though the village has put out multiple, press releases that state they need to have one. There's only a certain
on their
few.
person.
Yeah, on their person. Not their boss up the street in another neighborhood. But, my fear is what happens to that individual that really is interested, and they're just, they see a young guy smiling at them, and they go, yeah, let's pull the trigger now. This is great. And then all of a sudden, their perception's completely altered because of a bad experience.
I can tell you this: my wife Nikki, she makes a lot of phone calls in the nature of our business, and sometimes she gets them, and they say, "Oh man, we already went solar, but we went with one of these out-of-state companies, and it has been a disaster."
How so? Can we expand on that? How so? It was a disaster.
Well, one, they always tell you that it can be done in 3 or 4 months. You'll be activated with those companies. It's 6 to 8. I work with one of them for the one product called the Power Purchase Agreement. It's just not a smooth process. Again, like you said, they could never talk to the sales rep again because he came here to stay in an Airbnb in St. Louis and go out to steak dinner every night and, may have made a ton of money, but there is an aftermath. One guy told me one time, he goes, Chris, you weren't even the less expensive guy, but I went with you because if there's ever a throat to choke, I know where you are.
Exactly. Well, you're 100% right about that. I mean, at least you know who did the job. You know who's responsible at the end of the day.
And somebody to fight for you, when there is an issue.
Exactly. And now take me through the practice of Simply Solar again, how your business operates, because we had you on a couple of months ago, but just to refill our audience and on the services you provide, how it works, if you could fill us in.
All right. So at my company, Simply Solar, I work with different local contractors. If you're strictly a residential and you're paying cash, or you're okay with taking the loan, I have a preferred vendor for that. If you're a commercial operation, we're more versed in getting REAP grants, and you're working with a depreciation. There's a lot more details involved in that process. So I have an EPC for that. The PPA, the bigger companies that are in here knocking on the doors, they're the ones that come in here with that product, and that product has its application, but it's only for a select few people. It's not supposed to be the broad stroke. So, but I advise people in every facet. At the end of the day, even if all I've done was educate you and you don't do the solar.
Yep.
Then that's all fine and good. Just tell somebody that I was honest with you and I'm worth talking to.
100%, because that's I hate to say it, Chris. I don't know how you feel about this, but I've said this every time based on the show when it kind of comes up. It's almost like an Americana way of doing business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's such an it's almost unexistent anymore with how so many companies operate. It's just, let's get the quick sell. Let's get this money in the bank and let's hit the bottom line so that way the accountant team's happy this month, and let's do this. it's not the, hey, I just want to talk to you. If it works for you, great. If not, hey, I totally understand. But just, pass the name on if you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
I miss those days, and I'm glad you're bringing it back.
It is. It's sounds like 50s type
It
crap,
does.
doesn't it?
It does. It's what my grandpa did with Rigdon Sewer Service forever. It's the right way to do it, and I hope it comes back even stronger.
Well, referral business is actually the largest part of my business, and that's why.
100%. And I wanted to ask you about some of these, just to kind of give our audience a little bit of a bigger picture. We're going to go on the scene now. Take me through this job, because this is not a 1,600 square foot home.
No, that is not. That is a farm up north, and if you see the grain bins in the back,
let's zoom in on that.
They've got the grain bins. Anybody that's working with grain, they pull a lot of power. They pull it in basically 2 months of the year. So basically, that customer, he got it put on the roof. He got his 30% federal tax credit. He got the Illinois Shines money. He also gets to depreciate the system because it's in the process of a commercial project. What you're looking at there is probably about $250,000 worth of solar, 85% of which was paid for through the incentives in the first 3 to 4 years of the system's operation. That's actually a phenomenal project.
That is incredible, man. I didn't talk to Chris and say which picture should I pull up. That was just one I saw, but think about just the transformation for that individual's electric bill, because I could only imagine what those 2 months were running him when he was, on the power supply.
Yeah, the electric bills those couple of months were upwards of $4,000 to $5,000.
Oh my gosh!
For 2 months.
Oh my gosh!
But he banked his power all year long. With the day he turned the switch, didn't cost him a dime.
And I wanted to ask you just real quick, because I'm always fascinated by just the process of the build. There's a picture here on the site, and I'm on simplysolarillinoi.com. You all can follow along at home or request a little bit of a consultation on the site as well. Put your contact information in. We'll show you how to do that too. What is this process in the installation?
I'm trying to figure out.
It looks like a ground wire.
Which one that is? Okay, so this is a ground mount. The gentleman obviously didn't want to put it on the roof. Okay, so we find a position out on the land that's got clear southern exposure. The trench that you see there and the conduit, which is obviously one of our jobs. Some of them don't put the wire in conduit, but you bring it around, and probably behind us, and I think to the right, is where the meter would be.
Did you say some don't put wiring in conduit?
They do not.
What?
They cut corners. They cut corners. The stuff was supposed to be in conduit. It's supposed to be 18 inches deep. And we go out and repair other people's projects that haven't been done like that.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I seriously, you said that, I'm not being funny. I mean, that's just an obvious no-brainer. Put the damn thing in conduit. Wow.
You'd be surprised some of the installations I've seen here just in the past couple of weeks by some of these out-of-state companies.
Can I ask you, how difficult is it to kind of not get too frustrated by the bad apples? Because, you're a part of the industry, and I get, you got to stay true to who you are, but it's got to get frustrating when you hear some of this, obvious falsehoods that are started by bad experiences.
Yeah, for us little local guys, it's really difficult to compete because, one, like you said about that ad, they bring in 10, 20, 30 guys, and they're just canvassing the living crap out of everything. In fact, if you saw one walking, I'm surprised. Half the time they're on Segways.
Yeah, you're right. That's true, too. In DeAdrian they were. That's true.
Yeah. So... what was the question?
It was just, how do you combat that? How do you kind of just deal with it? Because it is something to deal with.
We combat it by doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
We can only market so much on Facebook and Instagram and Google and everything like that. When a customer wants to do solar, just Google local or solar close to me, or something to that effect. You might not always land on me, and that's fine. But I would rather see you get solar and have a positive experience than give it to these people in California.
Exactly. And I didn't know, Chris, that you were a little bit of a TV star here. You didn't tell me this. I wanted to
have a little fun. Oh yeah. Arlington Greens Golf Course, baby.
This is your community engagement. Let's play this out.
Standing here at Arlington Greens Golf Course in Granite City to show you our latest solar installation. This is a small portion of overall 260 kilowatts around this golf course that's going to create all of its electricity for the next 25 to 30 years. The only electric bill this golf course will receive is going to be its $26 a month customer charge and meter charge. If you would like to know how to do this for your home or business, give us a call at 618-796-0197. We would love the opportunity to become your solar provider as well. Thank you and have a great day.
And if you could on that job, that's another bigger project.
It is, and that's only the array behind me. That's only about half of the overall solar for that golf course. One of the challenges at these golf courses is where do you put this? Because they've used the majority of the land, for this and that and the other things. So there's another ground mount somewhere else out on the course. There's some on the roof of the clubhouse, and on the maintenance shed out there. So it's spread out.
I just think it's so cool that, Chris, you guys both, you and Nikki both are just, you guys work as hard as you can to get the word out. And that's what's needed, especially when you're in an industry that's full of, players, quote unquote, that just have a bankroll and that's about it with advertising dollars and can afford to send out a bunch of recruiters. If that's the new name for them? That's what the one guy told me. He was a solar recruiter.
Yeah. Lead generator, door knocker.
Yeah.
Door knocker.
Well, I have another word for it, but I'm on the air. So what do the next few months look like with you? Because this has got to be a busy time, I'm sure, with this change. And I mean, this is a major change. So I'm sure that you're going to have a lot of phone calls, a lot of conversations. What do you foresee?
Well, we're prepared to keep the gas on the pedal, for the next month and a half, and then we're just going to manage the projects through the rest of the year. There'll still be some things that'll trickle in, but it's more important to us that everybody has a good experience through the rest of the year because, like I said, the incentives aren't going away per se.
No.
Just the one-to-one net metering. Batteries will become more of a conversation now. But
how so? Just because I'm not really versed in this.
Ameren having the one-to-one net metering all this time, a battery was never an essential.
Okay.
There's less expensive ways to do emergency backup. You could put a generator alongside of your house for about half the cost of a battery.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but when they do away with the one-to-one net metering, and even the utilities around here like Southwest Electric Co-op and MJM, City of Highland, a lot of the municipal utilities, they've already begun to have the conversations about batteries because they don't get a true one-to-one. So we have access to the Tesla Powerwall 3 now.
Okay.
Quick access. You don't have to wait 18 months for it anymore. But it is going to be a conversation that even Ameren customers will start to have in 2025.
Wow. And now, real quick, while I have you, man, every time I talk to you, it just flies by. We've been talking for 20 minutes, And
Oh my God, are we done?
No, we are not done yet because I got to show people this screen real quick. This is simplysolarillinois.com/landing page. I'm going to zoom out for you guys just so you can get the website, but it won't let me. That's okay. simplysolarillinois.com/landing page. This is where you fill out the information. How does that process work? How quick do you reach out after you get that form?
Within 24 hours.
Wonderful.
Absolutely, within 24 hours.
And, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are calling you here in the next couple of weeks that are going, man, I got to get it on this. I mean, this is make or break. Otherwise, I'm not doing the solar thing. I can see that happening. So what is your advice to folks that are maybe going, we waited too long, we got to do this, we're ready to bite the bullet now? What's your advice to them on, how this is going to work out and how it's going to roll out in the next few months?
Like I said, just have the conversation now.
Yep.
Have the conversation right now, sometime in the next week or two. Even if you need 3 or 4 days to think about it, you'll still have a little bit of wiggle room there. But at the end of the day, CJ, the jig is up.
It is, man.
The jig is up. We've been telling them for years it was coming.
You told me 2 months ago it was coming on this show.
Yeah.
You said that there is a talk of a change coming to this net. I remember you telling me that now.
Yep.
And it's just, it's so good to know that there is someone that's, that's really trusted and knows what they're doing here and has great partners that, perform the task at hand too. And so, please,
If I may, CJ, I need 30 seconds.
You go for it, man.
Also, I want to introduce, we're launching, as of tomorrow, Simply Solar Scrubbers. We are opening our solar panel cleaning business. We are going to be the only people in the Metro East area that are doing it. It's going to be a great product. I can't sell everybody's solar, but I can simply clean all of your solar panels. So give us a call if you want your panels to shine.
You cannot just hit me with that before you leave. We got to talk about this more. God dang it, Chris. Come on, man. So how did this, obviously, brilliant idea, because no matter what, it's just like, Grandpa getting on the roof to clean the gutters. Do you feel comfortable getting up there to do it?
Oh, I'm not getting on the roof.
Well, no, but, how does that, what does it take to really clean solar panels? Because I'm sure a dirty solar panel could affect the amount of energy that you're bringing into your home.
Yep. You need to use a deionized water system. It removes all the chemicals from the water. It comes out streak-free, shine. It's a perfect situation. Now, what was the latter part of that?
So, just how does that process work? Does it take quite some time to clean? Does it
a couple of hours?
Really?
A couple of hours. If you don't have water, like if you have a ground mount and it's away from your property and out in the field, we have a water tank in the truck. We'll be able to we'll bring our own water, and do the system. But again, people never really considered that solar panels do get a layer of debris on them. If you ever look at your windshield and you see the windshield wiper keeps it perfectly clean, but there's always that little section out there that even the car wash doesn't get off.
Yes.
Okay? So that's what you're dealing with. So I recommend every 2 to 3 years, unless you're in a very area where you get a lot of debris from the trees and sap and pollen and things of that nature. Maybe it's an annual thing.
Well, I'm thinking, especially if you're out in a rural part of the county here, you got all those cornfields, that dust kicks up,
sir.
plus the tree pollen that makes it a little sticky. That's a perfect formula for film.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there's a lot of them out there. A lot of people have had solar here for 10, 15 years, and they've never seen a sponge.
Oh.
Oh,
God.
We think the time was right.
So how long's the process? So what's the process going to look like? When does this officially launch?
Monday.
Monday?
Yep.
Is it going to be on part of the Simply Solar Illinois website?
It will be.
Okay, cool.
It will be. We're picking up the equipment today. We're going to do a couple of systems over the weekend to get the feel for it, but we're ready to roll.
Can you guys send me the graphic of that so we can add it to your honestly, I know we're talking business now, but that way we can get it on so the more of the region can see it too. Because man, that is brilliant. I never even have heard of that before. So this has to be. You said first clean, sir?
First in the Metro East. When I was Googling other ones to see, because I just wanted to call another company and pick their brain for information on the darn thing, and there's nobody around here.
Wow.
So I had to do some homework. But yeah, we're ready.
I knew you'd hit me with something. I knew you were going to hit me with something.
I just didn't know our 20 minutes was going to go by so quick.
My God. So this is awesome, man. I'm just a big fan, and I like that you're always constantly evolving and seeing a need, because there is a need for this.
Yep.
And, yeah, granted, even at me at a younger age, if I had a solar panel that you spent quite some money on, even though with all the exemptions and all of those things, they brought it back down. But still, do you feel comfortable going out there and cleaning if you really don't know what you're doing? I don't.
No, baby, no way.
It's like, people used to make fun of me about spraying my air conditioner off, because I'm like, man, what if I spray the wrong damn part of this thing? And then even though now I know it's okay, but solar panels aren't. It's intricate, and you don't want to be the one that. A
lot of people think they can just pressure wash them. It's an electronic component. Don't pressure wash the panel.
Thank you. Okay. I was going to ask you, because I've seen a video of a guy on YouTube that's done that, where he's taken his pressure washer and he was like doing something good for the neighborhood to clean up the streets, and he saw a panel and he goes, well, I can clean that for you too, and sprayed it. I didn't see the end result, but I could only imagine that did not end well for that person.
Yeah, no. So solar panels are pretty tough, and they'll take a lot, but I wouldn't put a couple of 100 pounds of water pressure on them. No, I don't.
No. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting.
It's a soft brush clean with deionized water, and they come out beautiful.
Do they? Could you tell the difference once they're cleaned?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of this is going to be vanity, because if you live in a residential neighborhood and don't get a whole lot of pollen, you're still going to want your stuff to shine. It's the reason we pressure wash our house and we wash our cars and we want this. I want my solar panels to be shiny.
Yeah, 100%.
Not with a little cover of haze.
So is it going to be you out there doing the jobs? You got a team with you?
You know, I'm okay with a single-story roof that I can reach with the 30-foot pole, but if there's getting up on the roof is required, no, that's going to be my buddy Matt.
There you go, Matt. You're ready for this one. Man, best of luck on this. This is really exciting. And whenever you get the ball really rolling on the solar panel cleaning, come back on so we can ask you how things are going and when we can call you for ours.
Will do.
Man, I love talking to you. 1024, a little bit of change on this Friday morning. Our daily show hits you next with more right after this on Roku TV, RiverBender.com.